Our story begins with a journalist who was about to expose a company called mutate. A woman named JJ had come to him with all the evidence, showing how this company was selling dangerous medications with severe side effects to people. And the waste from their facility was deadly as well. But right then, thugs sent by mutate arrived at the scene. The journalist told JJ to grab the hard drive and run. As JJ tried to escape from these thugs, the hard drive got destroyed. The goons shot the journalist with bullets first. When he managed to stand back up, they killed him with a harpoon. But JJ managed to escape from there. The scene then shifts to a dwarf named Winston. He worked for mutate. Living with Winston was his stepson Wade, the son of his girlfriend who had died a year ago. Wade didn't really like Winston, but Winston was doing everything he could to take care of him. As they stepped outside their home, they saw a man threatening their neighbor Daisy, demanding that she sell her property to him. This man threw Daisy's cat into the middle of the road. Winston quickly rushed over and picked up the cat. Wade started walking away on his own. He asked Winston why he didn't do anything when those people were threatening Daisy. Winston told him that sometimes it's better to do nothing. He said, "You'll understand when you're older." Today, Wade had a dance performance at his school. Winston wished him the best of luck. He said, "Performing is in your blood, man. Your mom would be so proud." Winston then headed to work. He worked as a janitor at one of mutate's factories, mopping floors. But today he received a phone call saying his test results had come in. When Winston went to the doctor, he learned that his brain had been severely damaged. Surgery was impossible. He only had a year left to live, maybe just 6 months. Winston was devastated. The doctor told him there was a very expensive medication that might be able to cure him, and maybe his insurance would cover it. Winston immediately checked on his insurance. He had the platinum plan provided by mutate to its employees. But for some reason, his insurance excluded the benefits covered under the gold plan. The insurance people started explaining the different tiers to him, telling him he had this tier but not that one. But the bottom line was clear. Winston's treatment would not be covered by his insurance. The story moved to the head of mutate, Robert Garbinger. He called his brother Fritz and told him that the journalist's death was supposed to look like an accident, not a harpoon killing. And they still had no information about that girl. Robert said that hiring that music band for this job was not the best operational decision. Robert reminded Fritz that everything they had was at stake. Fritz told the music band to find the girl. They went to her house. JJ was watching them from outside. After they left, she went inside. The band members had beaten up her landlord. JJ grabbed her belongings and left. Meanwhile, Wade couldn't perform because of his lack of confidence. After that, he was mocked all over social media. Winston was already short on money, and now he had this illness on top of it. Just then, Wade came home from school. He was really upset. Winston told him, "Your mom stopped doing shows when you were very young, but she was an absolute killer on stage." An idea struck Winston. He put on some music, threw on a dress, and started dancing. Winston was doing all this to cheer Wade up. But Wade's eyes fell on those medical reports. Winston didn't let him read them. He left the house and started drinking. The scene shifted to an awards show. Here, a man named Thad reminded Robert, "I bankrolled you and your company." But now he wanted results. People weren't buying Robert's company's snake oils anymore because of the side effects. Robert received his award at the show. But Winston had also shown up at the awards ceremony. He approached Robert and told him, "I've been working at your company as a janitor for the past 13 years. But now I'm sick and the company's insurance won't cover my treatment." Robert said, "I think I got responsibility." He was ready to help Winston. Robert's assistant, Kissy, took Winston aside to get his details. But she led him straight to the exit and left him there. She locked the door from inside. Winston could hear them mocking and humiliating him from behind the door. Winston was furious. He went straight to his company's factory. But JJ also snuck inside at the same time. Fritz found out that JJ had entered the building. Inside, Winston dipped a mop into the company's toxic chemicals. The mop started glowing. On the other side, JJ was collecting a sample of the toxic waste. Winston used this glowing mop to scare the guard and rob the factory's cash. But just then, the music band arrived outside. In his rush to escape, Winston collided with JJ. The music band spotted them. JJ managed to escape from there, but the music band shot Winston. They took him and his mop and threw them both into the wastewater. In that water, the chemical from the mop reacted with Winston's body. His body completely mutated and transformed into something like a hideous monster. Winston somehow made it back near his home. But there, that same man, Spence, had already gotten his neighbor Daisy to sign the property papers. Winston went upstairs toward his apartment. Wade had been worried about him. Winston felt good seeing that. But when Wade saw Winston, he panicked and threw an object at him out of fear. Wade fell onto Spence's car. Spence saw a monster in front of him and got terrified. He shot Winston, but the bullet had no effect on Winston. Instead, in a fit of rage, Winston tore off Spence's arm. Everyone who saw this got scared. Taking advantage of the situation, Daisy grabbed her property papers back. Then everyone together, thinking Winston was a monster, chased after him to kill him. Winston ran and hid in the woods. Exhausted, he passed out right there. The next morning, he woke up at the hideout of an old man named Guthrie, deep in the forest. Guthrie wasn't afraid of Winston. In fact, knowing that Winston was dying, he gave him a motivating speech. He said, "So what if you're dying? We're all dying. Use whatever time you have to the fullest. Who knows when things might change?" Guthrie also had Winston's mop with him. He returned it to Winston and said, "This is a formidable item. Use it with responsibility." Meanwhile, the media was full of news about Winston. Wade was watching all of it. He tried calling a helpline number. But just then, at a shop, some thugs took people hostage. These thugs were calling themselves the Nasty Lads. They were protesting the fact that a shop's name had been changed from Mr. Meat to Miss Meat. Winston was silently watching all of this. The leader of this group got angry at a blind woman sitting in the shop. The woman threw a drink at him. And that's when Winston made his entrance. Using his mutated strength, he took down all these thugs. The hostages safely made it out of there. Winston came out right behind them. People outside were frightened seeing him. But the people who came out of the shop explained that he was a hero. He saved us. Winston's outfit had the BTH logo on it. He said something there, a line that made Wade realize it was Winston. Everyone started applauding for him. On TV, Spence also saw Winston. He told his dad, "Thad, that's him. That's the one who did this to me." Thad sent his men after Winston. Winston was relieving himself on a building's rooftop. But even his urine was acidic. At the same time, Robert figured out that Winston was the monster. Robert told all his scientists to find out how this happened. The scientists explained that when their toxic waste mixed with a rare genetic marker, a mutation occurred. Robert told them to recreate it. But for that, they would need Winston. Fritz told him that Winston also has a child. On the other side, JJ reached Wade. She told him everything. She needed Winston's help to expose Robert's company. That's when we learned that JJ's mom had died because of BTH's products. JJ told Wade that Winston was running away after stealing some money that night. But then those music band thugs showed up. As they ran, the thugs planted a tracker on Wade's leg. Wade then confronted Winston. Wade said, "Why did you go to steal money? I don't need doctors or those therapies." But Winston explained, "That money was for me. I'm sick. I'm dying." Wade got angry. "Just like Mom, you didn't tell me either." Just then, Winston got shot. It was Thad's men. Winston killed one of them and escaped from there. JJ ran with Wade. As soon as she spotted the tracker on his leg, she got shot too. It was the music band and Fritz. On the other side, Winston was taking down Thad's men one by one. He used one thug's dead body to lure another one closer to him. He killed them all, one by one. Winston found JJ, who had collapsed after being shot. He carried her to Guthrie's place. Guthrie had mentioned in his talks that he was a doctor. But now he was saying, "When did I say that? And besides, this girl is already dead." With no other option left, Winston applied his own blood to JJ's bullet wound. JJ started regaining consciousness. Meanwhile, Fritz was taking Wade with him. He said, "Don't be scared. We just want him." But Wade said, "You should be scared instead." For the first time, Wade called Winston Dad. He said, My dad loves me more than anything. Robert got a call from Thad saying, "Your BTH guy killed half my gang. Now you tell me what I should do to you." But just then, seeing Winston's son in front of him, Robert told Thad, "It's handled." Robert had Wade locked up in a shed. On the other side, JJ thanked Winston for saving her life. The two of them were looking at the pollution caused by BTH. JJ explained how the BTH people had killed that journalist who was going to expose them. She said they were very dangerous. But Winston was ready to fight. The scene shifted to one of the music group's concerts. JJ went and cut off their music, playing something else instead. Winston appeared from among the audience. Singing a song, he pulled all the spotlight onto himself. The music band members opened fire on him. Winston killed them all, one by one. When the people standing there started to get a bit scared of Winston, he told them about this group and BTH's conspiracy. He grabbed the last remaining member of the group and asked him, "Where is Wade?" This large man had a face like a baby's. He told them Wade's address. They reached Robert's mansion. Winston pulled out his eye to look and saw two guards ahead. JJ walked toward them attractively, and the nervous guards ended up shooting each other. From inside the nearby shed, Wade called out to Winston. But smoke coming from a statue knocked them unconscious. When they regained consciousness, both of them were chained up. The scientists took Winston's blood sample and tried to create a serum for Robert, but the experiment failed. Robert forced them to repeat the experiment over and over until it was successful. So Winston had to endure several painful blood extractions. Finally, the scientists created a serum with the right level of mutates, but there was a problem. Robert refused to listen and took the bottle away. Just then, Thad arrived with his men and turned on the news. Winston's outburst at the concert was all over the media, and the mayor announced that she would no longer support BTH. Thad was ready to punish Robert because he hadn't handled the issue as he'd promised. So Robert decided to drink the serum himself. At first, the transformation wasn't very visible, but he was now much faster and stronger. In just a few seconds, he brutally killed Thad and his men. When Kissy came looking for him, his transformation was complete. Now he looked like a monster. Kissy wanted to drink the serum too, but only a few drops remained. Soon, Robert started feeling sick, and the scientists explained that the serum wasn't ready yet. Kissy yelled at them, demanding they create a cure immediately. She also ordered the guards to kill all the hostages, including Wade. Fritz was shocked hearing this. Fritz refused to kill an innocent child and tried to stop the guards, saying this monster wasn't Robert anymore. In anger, Kissy kicked him in the groin and started beating him with a metal rod. In the jail cell, JJ heard everything about Wade being killed and motivated Winston to fight. Unfortunately, no matter how hard Winston pulled, he couldn't break the chains. Then he remembered his acidic pee. He opened his pants and used it to free them both. JJ stole a computer to get the proof, and Winston punched down the door and grabbed his mop. Outside, Winston knocked out one guard while going toward the shed, but when the other guard opened fire, a gas tank exploded and the whole shed went up in flames. The blast threw Winston back and he screamed, thinking Wade was dead. Then Robert appeared with an axe and started fighting him. Their weapons clashed, and the radioactive mop began cutting through the axe. Robert disarmed Winston and tried to behead him. Winston picked up his mop again and burned Robert's face, making him run. A chase began and both of them rolled down the hill. Meanwhile, JJ returned to the car, but Kissy came from behind and tried to choke her with chains. They both got into a fight. JJ picked up a toilet and smashed it on Kissy's head. She took that same toilet and hit Robert with it. Taking advantage of this, Winston overpowered Robert. He yelled, "You should have just helped me." But just then, Wade appeared. Actually, Fritz had come and gotten him out of the shed earlier. When Robert tried to attack Winston again, he got stuck in the car. JJ started the engine. Caught in the engine, Robert died. Winston moved toward his son, saying, "You called me Dad." But then from behind, Kissy attacked Winston. She slashed Fritz's throat as well. Winston and Kissy both got caught in a blast. Sometime later, Winston woke up in the hospital. The blind woman from the burger joint was there. She turned out to be a secret agent. She turned on the TV, which showed that JJ had leaked all the data, exposing the BTH conspiracy. Even the mayor and some cops were involved. The agent explained that she'd been after BTH for years, and because Winston had helped, he wouldn't be arrested. The doctor also told him that his mutations had cured his cancer. When he stepped outside the hospital, Daisy and a crowd welcomed him. Everyone thanked him for saving the city. Wade hugged him for the first time. JJ said goodbye to him from a distance. Elsewhere, Fritz was under guard by a cop, and Kissy regained consciousness. Then came the time for the school talent show, and this time Wade was confident enough to perform on stage. Winston stood in the back, watching him with pride. And with that, our story comes to an end right here. Let me know in the comments how you liked this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.